Hi, welcome again to Bert's Books. I'm just back from a brief holiday in Barmouth, Wales. Very badly timed to capture the end of summer and the beginning of winter, which happened in the course of a day. I got hailed on. Nevertheless, Barmouth being a small seaside town, uh, always proves an interesting source of second-hand books. I don't know what it is with seaside towns that cause them to be such a rich source of out-of-print pulp literature. Possibly it's the fact that volumes sit on the shelves of B&Bs. All the B&Bs have their kind of rainy day stash of books, and they tend to sit there for decades rather than years, eventually finding their way into second-hand shops, maybe when the places change ownership. I don't know if that's the reason, but I've always found if you visit a small seaside town, or a large seaside town for that matter, the second-hand shops there never really disappoint you. Barmouth, incidentally, was the location for Guy N. Smith's 1976 blockbuster Night of the Crabs, of which I think was my first or second episode. I didn't visit there for that reason. That would be weird and groupie-ish, but nevertheless, it lends the location a bit of an interesting background, I suppose. Although, as it happened, I didn't turn up any Guy and Smith volumes there, and I'm not sure how much the locals are even aware that their town was immortalised in this rather dubious fashion. Anyhow, my first find was Space Precinct Demon Wing by David Bischoff, a Jerry Anderson project. I don't remember any of this. I don't remember this one at all. I would guess this may not rank as one of Jerry Anderson's finest hours, because I have no recollection of it at all. Dates from the 90s of the cover illustration there. It would seem to seems to picture the Brundlefly as a desk sergeant. I don't know what is going on there. I don't know if this may just go straight onto eBay or back into a charity shop near me. I don't know. I wouldn't say I have terribly high expectations of it, but curiosity value maybe. Anyhow, second find, Vermin by John Kerrigan. This is part of a series, SBS. This is number 3 in the SBS series. SBS being Special Boat Squadron. Well, you've probably heard of the Special Air Service, SAS. Never heard of the Special Boat Squadron. It looks like one of those kind of dad books that people's dads would read in about 1981. What year was it? 1984. It just has that look about it that something your mate's dad would have on the go. We'll see. I don't know. No, I've never heard of this one either, or this series. But next, Sean Hudson's Victims. Now, I don't think I've yet tackled a Sean Hudson. He's one of those names. Sooner or later in this area, we're going to run into Sean Hudson. I first read one of his probably when I was 16ish. A title called Spawn, which may rank as one of the most disgusting things I've ever read in my life. He's kind of Sean Hudson, arguably is one of the inspirations for Garth Marenghi. I think Garth Marenghi is probably a composite of a number of different pulp horror writers, but I suspect Sean is in there, if only for the sort of leathery attire. I've never read this one before. I don't know anything about it. We'll see. There's this recommendation on the cover. Um, you can't read Sean Hudson for more than a minute or two without starting to squirm, attributed to the Daily Express. Now, I don't know if that was meant as a compliment or if that is just most people's reaction to the writings of Sean Hudson. I don't know. Anyway, the day was always going to come when I was going to run into one of his titles, so there it is. I couldn't turn it down. I had to, quid or whatever it was. So, yeah, it's in the pile. Next up, Alan Andrews, Exemplary Justice, Corgi Books, 1980 something, I think. I've took the precaution of obscuring where the cover designer has been, I think, a bit over enthusiastic in the political symbolism. This at first glance has the look of one of those very typical Corgi mass market war fiction titles. Bear in mind, Corgi were the publisher for Sven Hassel in Britain, and yes, we're going to deal with Sven Hassel soon. As you can see, this very sort of almost over elegant kind of Sturmbannführer type doing what he does best there in an execution yard. In fact, on closer examination, this is a non-fiction title. This is an examination of the post-war investigation into the incident that I think was immortalised in the film The Great Escape, although an awful lot of dramatic license was taken with that film. Finally, probably best of all, it's years since I've read this. Again, Corgi Books, a nice Corgi edition, decent bit of cover art there. Jack D. Hunter's The Blue Max, famously filmed in 1960 something with George Peppard in the lead role, I seem to remember, with James Mason and I forget who else in it. So it's very well known First World War films. Like I say, a long time since I've read this. Very well written. I mean, it's, as you may know, it accounts the story of the fictional First World War German flying ace Bruno Stachel, a rather troubled individual, victim not only to, I suppose you can argue there's a crippling sort of insecurity behind the way he carries himself, but this manifests itself in sort of level of arrogance and a level of over ambition and sort of ruthless behaviour in combat with an aim to furthering his personal glory. One detail I'd quite forgotten from the last time I read this, and I really don't think is touched upon in the film, is that Herr Stachel, every time he achieves an air victory, he gets a boner. Lending an extra dimension to the idea of the cockpit, and the idea that there's more than one joystick in Herr Stachel's cockpit. But that's not the main point of the book. It's a detail. I don't know if that's a phenomenon that people actually experience under those circumstances. Is possible. It sort of says in here that bloodlust. There's a line in this about bloodlust being so close to other forms of lust. So who knows? Anyway, a fantastic read. And also, other detail is that people tend not to realise this book had a sequel. And like I said in my last one, I do have a sort of vague ambition to be looking at unlikely or unappreciated sequels. So there is, believe it or not, a sequel to this. You wouldn't think so from the film, but the book follow the books. The narrative is slightly different to the films, as is often the case. So altogether, not a bad haul. I mean, yeah, there are some things here which probably won't stay on my shelf long, but yes, once again, Barmouth has come up trumps. So thank you, and hope everyone's well out there, and we'll see you in the next one.